Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to the channel and welcome back if you are returning. Today is episode 221. We are officially at the middle of the book. This book, the Small Victories book, has, I believe, 82 pages, and this will be page 41 on the left, and I am just getting started on it. I am very excited to get started on it because I will finally get to do a flip through of my completed pages, all 41 of them. So that will be sometime early next week after I finish all 4 rows. We have 16 total tiny mushroom house images. Not all of them are houses. Some of them are just little groupings of mushrooms. Today's 4 images are going to be colored with 2 wonderful sets that are so very different than the Crayola Castle Arts pencils. And I will show you at the end, after I finish these 4, what the big difference is between actually the 4 sets of pencils. Now, the Castle Arts are a pastel tint, and they go down very similar in feeling to these 2 sets. It's the Brutfuner Macaron, which is totally a knockoff of the Holbein pastels. I'm going to, when I get my last small order of Holbeins, I am going to show you what I did for my color comparison to figure out for myself how close the Brutfuner Macaron 50 is to the 50 Holbein, and it is pretty amazing how close they are. So today I'm going to be coloring with a selection of a combination of both the Holbeins and the Macarons, as I had said that I would, and I am sticking with a similar color palette across all 4 of these cute little mushroom scenes, and I made myself do something very different. So the first color combination for this little mushroom is going to be an abbreviated sunset using going all the way into pinks instead of reds. So let's just see. I've got my colors out. I am starting with the brightest yellow, which is actually a Holbein. So we have a mix of Holbein and I'm going to go all the way into the magenta. All right, so these are going to be a little bit difficult for me to read, so let's see how we do. They're very shiny, very glossy, and reflective gold. So let's get these rotated and see how good we can do. You can see that they are very similar. Starting with the Holbein yellow, we have canary yellow. I believe it's 147, and the letters in the front of the Holbein is OP, and I'm not sure. I'm sure that P is for pencil, but I'm not sure what the O is for. It's either O or 0. Could be 0 because it's a tall, skinny type of a letter O. Then we have, and that the next one is a Brutfuner because it starts with the letter B. It is called Vibrant Orange, and its number is 0887. The orange is the Holbein orange, and it is 48. Again, I will have these all in the description if I am getting the names wrong. Carmine Rose is a Brutfuner, and it is 0737. And the darkest, can go one darker. We'll see how far I get in my transitions. Is Azalea, OP448. So I have tried to sharpen these. That one looks like it could use a little bit. So let's just show you what I have in mind. I am going to zoom in now and try to keep each image in the center and then I will zoom back out and we'll show you what they look like. So this canary yellow is very vibrant. Going to the peachy orange. This is a Brutfuner. These go down very creamy, not quite as creamy as the Holbein, but very similar-esque. Going to the orange now. Using these makes me regret that I decided I own 5 professional sets of pencils. Do I really need to spend the money, being that I am on a fixed income now? When we were traveling, I had a little more leeway with my crafting supplies because we did not live in a home and we had very low expenses. So now that we have a home, we have all of the bills related to the home. Though as far as homes go, this home is pretty simple, and the way things work here is your HOA pays for just about everything except electricity and your property taxes. So anyhow, I was able to afford the professional pencils, especially way back at the very beginning. I had, remember, I had sold horses, and all of the things along with owning horses, saddles, bridles, blankets, just lots and lots of things. So I had some money burning a hole in my pocket. So I actually made that money last. I also had consigned some things that I think 3 years in, I finally inquired about one of my saddles. It was actually my show saddle. And I kind of was a little bit mean because these people are really well known in the horse community and in my circles, and I really expected them to, I don't know, treat me better, be more attentive. You know, they probably knew that I was, you know, I probably was very clear that I was getting out of horses, so maybe they felt that they didn't have to be. I am going to the darker. This is one darker called Bordeaux Red, and it is OP469. So 3 years in, I then received another chunk of money that was able to sustain me for, at the time I was doing mostly card crafting, and that was my card crafting channel. So that supported that effort, and I've always sold my retired stamps, dies, embossing. Well, embossing folders I actually don't sell. Embossing folders and stencils I keep because they are so inexpensive and will last forever. And I do try to keep generic die shapes as well. Stamps are very, very common and prolific, so I do sell all of my stamps when they retire. All right, so that is my first blend that I've got. It is, here the whole thing is, I have them all reversed now. I can't even show you because there's so many. There are 6 of them. Here's the first 3. So now I have them in my hand, back in my right hand, all 6 of them. And I am going to darken up. Let's get this back where it needs to be. So anyhow, now that I have committed to not having to buy a complete set of Holbeins, I am going to make myself be happy with 50 and then supplement with the 50 pastels. I finally made time to be able to do a thorough analysis and become comfortable with my decision. Now you know that I've done this. It means I will find the best deal ever, because I love my used pencils. I just feel like I am one of those people that, you know, I don't rescue animals, I rescue pencils from homes that don't want them anymore, most of them having hardly been used. So these go down very creamy and dreamy. I can see some tooth. I am going to confess something very interesting about these Holbeins and the Brutfuners are very, very similar, and that is that on this very smooth paper, they don't go down as dark, but on that cheap copy paper that I have, they went down so vivid. So I'm going to show you at the end. I hope I remember. If I don't remember today, I will definitely share how vivid these particular pencils show up on regular old copy paper compared to Castle Arts, Color, and Crayola. I want to make sure I get this nice transition, very vibrant. I will say that I did not color these little dots because I think I'm going to stickle them. I have some stickles work to do back on the fish page. There are these iridescent bubbles that I put together and did multiple colors, so I will be stickling those as well. Okay, there you have it. Very nice, vivid, bright. Not even going to use a blender pencil. And these went down, and they've never, I can tell you that they have not done the wax slick thing to me. I can see that they do still have sort of a matte finish, which is sometimes very desirous for different artists, depending, like if you're doing nature portraiture, you generally aren't fishing for a very waxy finish. You want a nice flat sort of for realism, but look at how vivid that is. That is just amazing. So now I'm going to work on the underside here of the mushroom. Ironically, in my mock-up I did not color the underside here, the little fins. So I will be able to decide what I want them to be. I do not think I have ever colored a sort of sunset, sunrise mushroom before. I used this very vibrant yellow. I think what I want to do here, I am just going to go ahead and color this in yellow. Like that. We have some bright lights coming from inside our mushroom house. I am then going to take the darkest, which is Bordeaux red, it is going to be the trim on the door and window, but I am going to grab a Brutfuner pink. This one is the Carmine Rose, so that we get sort of a two-tone and some highlights showing in the frame, the door frame, and then the window frame. Okay, all of these have to get set back down. I will be using those for all 4 of the images. I then have a very quick, simple blue for these little bellflowers that I love to make blue. Oops, sorry, I slipped down. I have not colored that door, have I? I think the door is going to be peach. I guess that's sort of a peachy pink. Chimney is also going to be peach, but I am going to grab the orange for both as the darker accent color. Finally, so one of the main colors that I focused on with the remaining 15 to fill up my Holbein case is 2 other green tones. So this is a set of greens going to the olive and the Brutfuner. 2 of these are Brutfuners and just 1. I don't have a lot of green, and I know that Holbeins are known for their greens, so I have fleshed out 3 more green tones for my Holbeins, and I'm excited to see how those look when they come in. So we're going to do this little bit of grass, starting with the Brutfuner Green Flash, which is B0112. Then I have Leaf Green, B1292. And I bet you that this is the darkest I'm going to be able to get the little tiny patches of grass. Since that finishes that very cute mushroom, I'm going to go right into the grass on the next one, starting with this lightest Brutfuner. Again, that is, or was, Green Flash. Leaf Green is next. I'm going to go down or to the Jasper Green 294. I actually might come back over here and do a little tiny bit. I can put 3 colors in this little tiny patch of grass. Okay, now we're going to move to the top of our so we're going to end up with, I believe these might all be Brutfuners. Yep. Okay, so this is a Brutfuner blend. Blazing Yellow, B0156. Goldfing, B0341. And Vibrant Orange, B0887. So I do own 2 sets of the Brutfuners. These are my newer ones, and they are different numbers and in some cases different names than the original set that I have. So my swatches now have 2 numbers where appropriate, but the colors did not change. In a couple of cases they shifted a little bit, and I really don't know what prompted the changes, if the obvious knockoff if Holbein went after them for, from Japan. I do not have any idea. But even so, with the slight adjustments, they still, all 50 of them, match the swatches that I got. I downloaded some pre-colored in swatches since I don't own all 50. I own a few of the pastels. And the thing that I could do if I really wanted to, after I get my 50 and I have them for a while. So here's my nice sherbet top. I could actually go back, pull out any of the pastels, because those are now triplicates since I already own 2 sets of Brutfuners. And in the case where I did, before I made my strategy, and I bought, I maybe have 5 Holbein, so I could actually get 5 more if I feel an urgent need to. All right, the tops of these are also going to be this yellow to peach little mini blend. I'm skipping the middle color. I'm just going from the yellow to the peach. And then we will just mix them together. I then have the bottom of the tops, the bottom half, which is going to be a lovely light blue to mid blue. So let's see. We end up having, the lightest is the Brutfuner, oh boy, can I read that? River blue. Oh, I can read that through the camera lens. Yep. River blue is, that's really hard to read. 0335. Turquoise blue, which is a Holbein 343, and then cobalt blue 347. That was a struggle. So starting with the darkest along the top, and I would say I've been putting down like medium pressure, not feeling like with the Crayolas, I had the feeling of that I would get better coverage if I went with light pressure for a couple of layers. And then of course toward the end I went long yesterday, and I just started going with the heavier pressure, and it did work okay. But I am not so familiar with the Crayolas. I have used all of my other sets, at least 3 more pictures in this Small Victories than the Crayolas, which I've only, this was only my second time using the Crayolas. All right, so there's the middling blue. I think this is called cobalt blue. And now I'm lightening up my pressure so we have a good transition. Turquoise blue 343 is also a Holbein. Going with mediumish pressure, definitely not light. These definitely have that kind of a crossover feeling of somewhat silky, somewhat buttery, where the Brutfuner's feeling is definitely buttery. Okay, now we're going to go with the Brutfuner, which is the lightest, River Blue. We are going to smooth these layers down. I saw a little bit of crumbs happening there. I did not have any crumbs at all on the copy paper. Okay, so this is going to be just two, the very lightest, and then I'll grab the cobalt blue, which is the darker, right here, 347, and this is going to be light pressure. And then I will blend those two together with the light, softening up that transition line. It looks beautiful. What did I do with the stems? Here is what I went with. We will see how this goes. I went with pink. And as I go up the stalk, I get darker. So I started out with Carmine Rose 0373, that's a Brutfuner, going into a Holbein 448 Azalea as the middle tone, very soft pressure. Finishing off with Bordeaux Red, 469. So yeah, back to the completionist in me. This will be the only set other than the new barrel Prismacolor, which at the time there was only 72, and I think I have 54. I found a lot of duplicates, by the way. I don't think I reported that. So yes, when I swatched them, I discovered that I had, 6 duplicates. So the hunt may eventually be on to complete the set of 72. We will see if I get to that. Just like eventually. This is my only other set that is not a complete set. So I am definitely a completionist. But I will not be worried about the Holbeins anytime soon. And I'm actually not feeling pressure to get the barrel full set. All right, so those are our 2 mushrooms finished thus far with colors I've not used on mushrooms yet. I think they're very fun. Moving to the last 2 here, we have a snail, and I have decided I'll do the top first. The top of the snail, I will be starting a little bit darker than this blue, so I am going to go with navy blue 365 along the top. I find that this color is not as vivid as it goes down as the other colors, and it even feels a little bit different, and it might be there are cases where the darker colors end up having a silty pigment, and sometimes in the darker colors, like the greens, the dark purples, will have, like I'm thinking of the Light Fast, they end up having a weird, they click and catch once you get some of the pigment down. Rather than being like a smooth, silky feel, they have kind of a sticky feel. That is actually how I have defined that feeling. And this navy blue has a little bit of a feel of that, and I think that's the dark pigment. Nothing we can't work around. It's just something to be aware of. So I'm following the tips that the artist, with these little lines, making the shadows go down on those sides, just for fun. And then let's blend that out. This lightest color is that river blue, and it is a Brutfuner. And these blues go together beautifully. So if I felt that I really wanted this to be darker, I can go back in here, the way these work, and I can actually get a nice little dark edge. Just like that. And I'm a little bit far away so when I see it up close, I might blend it out a little bit with a middle blue. Okay, snail body. Snail body is going to be light, medium, and dark. And are these all Holbeins? Nope, a Brutfuner. The lightest pink is Brutfuner. It's not the lightest, it's the Carmine Rose. I do have one lighter, so that's 737. And Azalea 448, and Bordeaux Red 469. I do have one lighter. It's a little bit on the peachy transition that I was using from the yellow to the peach to the pink. And this is called, Salem. I think it's supposed to be salmon, and they reversed the M and the O. And that's 719. So this is the lightest color. And we're going to go right into the middle tone. I kind of want to leave a little bit of the tooth for the darker colors. This is the way I feel with the Brutfuners as well. They do go slick on me, and so leaving some of the tooth available just helps to make sure that I end up with a nice dark color when I get to the darker tones. So I'm already into this bright azalea color, and I'm just going to make sure I get that. And I am going to go deeper now as we get back here. I've left a little tiny bit of tooth there. And I left that to make sure that the Bordeaux Red has something to attach itself to. But it's doing nice. See how that's, even though I did not leave a lot of tooth there, but I did leave plenty of tooth here in the inside that I really want to have nice and dark. And now I'm going to take one of the middle colors. This is the Carmine Rose, and I will blend all this out. Just like that. That looks so cute. All right. We are not done with our strange color combinations. We've got green. I'm going to use the two lighter greens. They are both Brutfuners, and they are Leaf Green and Green Flash. Leaf Green is the darker one, going right up under the snail, followed by the rest in the lighter green, which I did not sharpen this. I do not think this is grass. I think it's snail slime. And the body of this cute snail is going to be yellow to peach. And the little dotted lines here, little dots, is the prompt from the artist telling me that that should be darker than the top. Very nice. And now we are moving right along to the final mushroom, and it is going to be, we're going to make it the inverse and not as bright as the one on the far right. So let's take a peek at that one. This one starts with bright yellow and goes to the Bordeaux red. This side is going to stay on the salmon side, and it's going to use Vibrant Orange B0887, a Brutfuner, then move a little bit lighter to another Brutfuner Goldfing 0341, and finishing off with the Holbein Canary Yellow 147, and then just in case I have the Holbein Orange 048 that I might use at the very top. Oh, and I will definitely be using it on the underside of the mushrooms. So this is the top. I'm going with some heavier pressure. I struggle, as you know, with the center here, or the spine is always just a bother to me, having done so many coloring pages that I copied myself, and this being the first book coloring I've done, it still is a struggle for me. Okay. Going to go back to the Vibrant Orange Brutfuner for the top of these two little ones. Going back to the orange, this is the regular old orange 048, and it is going to be the shadow space then this is the Brutfuner Vibrant Orange, which is actually not as bright as the Holbein Orange. Okay, so that, and then I do have the desire to just soften the edge here. I am not going to go darker. All right, I do have green, a little bit of grass there that I will use as grass, and I'm going to use the two darker colors. Leaf Green 1291 and Jasper Green 294. Just a little tuft of green. Let's get back in the middle. All right, so I don't think I have enough in the dots to be able to do 3 colors, so I'm going to start with a light river blue and then use the cobalt blue 347. I just don't think there's enough space in here to go with more than 2. Trying to leave a little bit of tooth on the one side for the darker color. I have not been playing with light sourcing lately. I've just been kind of going for it, coloring the whole thing. I guess the only little bit of light I have is on the edge of the snail. Everything else is all colored in. So given that I have not done a lot with light source, the center of this mushroom is the center of the light. So on the right, I am going to darken just the outer edge of the circle. And on the left, I darkened the left side of the circles. The center one here gets to get a little bit of dark on both sides. So the edges of the right little mushroom on the right gets the shadow cast, and on the left of the little circles on the leftmost. On my mock-up, I felt that the circles ended up very dark, so that is why I minimized the colors to just 2 and not going to the navy blue. All right, we are just about done, and we are at 43 minutes, and all we have left are the stems. And of course, I'm going to grab yellow. This is the canary yellow Holbein for the 3 stars. And it's the only background that I was considering coloring in, but I'm not going to color them in at all. I'm going to leave it just like that. The stem for these 3, sticking with my non-standard color scheme, I'm not going to use the very palest pink. I'm going to start with the Carmine Rose 737, moving on to Azalea 448, then Bordeaux Red 469. I'm going to start with the dark here at the top in the shadow. Same with up here. Little tiny medium pressure circles. I do have these little dots, so I'm going to go ahead and go down the dotted side. Getting a little bit, there's these shadow lines, so I will go ahead and darken the very bottom of each mushroom. Okay. All right. These just felt dreamy. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so what's going to happen here? I made the little skirt peachy yellow. All right, we are finished. And this will finish out the week's coloring. I will not have to color to make up for anything tomorrow. I will just do the weekly review. I am pretty excited to review what we did this week and how my channel did. And here are my fun, unique, totally spontaneous colors I just grabbed. I can see this one needs a little more, so I might do another layer here. I see some tooth. I'm okay with the little dot of tooth, but I have to make it as vivid as everything else so that they're all the same vibrancy. So do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. Thank you all for joining me this week. Tomorrow again will be our weekly review, and then I will say I have a thing that I am doing on Monday. It is Labor Day weekend, and I'm going to craft virtually with my North Carolina crafting buddy Libby, and I am going to say that I will probably not do a daily color if we for some reason finish early, but I don't think we will. We've got big plans for Monday, so I will probably not come into color, but I will be back on Tuesday, and we will be finishing during the weekdays. Each day will be one row. Definitely took all 45 minutes and then some, because we're at 47. So we have 3 more sets. Let's see if I have the sets handy. But tomorrow I will review everything we are doing. Oh, we've got some good options. That should be fun. I really love when I get to color with praying. And praying is one of these sets of 4. It's just always fun to pit the prangs up against the big kids. And it'll be pitted against Holbein, and then another favorite that is just really rich and vibrant. So I will save that for tomorrow when we talk about my plans for the next week. So I will see you all tomorrow for a quick one. Take care, and be sure to color a little every day.